He was too British, too street, too black, too different. Hollywood told Idris Elba he'd never be a leading man, that he'd never sell tickets, that audiences wouldn't believe someone like him could carry a blockbuster, play a suave romantic lead, or become a global icon. But they were wrong, completely spectacularly wrong. Because Idris Elba didn't justify the odds. He shattered every rule, redefined what a star could look like, and built a legacy with nothing but talent, grit, and relentless confidence. Long before he became the smooth-talking detective on Luther or the gun-wielding antihero in the Suicide Squad, Idris Elba was a struggling actor in East London, bouncing between odd jobs, barely scraping by. Born to working-class immigrants from Sierra Leone and Ghana, he wasn't handed any shortcuts. He worked in a tire shop, was a nightclub bouncer, DJ'd under the name Big Dries, and chased auditions between shifts. There were no red carpets then. Just closed doors and casting directors who couldn't see past his accent or his skin. But Elba had a vision. He knew he wasn't just meant to stand in the background. He was meant to lead. His first breakthrough came not in Britain, but in America, with the role of Stringer Bell in HBO's The Wire. Audiences were blown away by his presence. Cool, calculating, menacing, yet oddly noble. Elba's portrayal of a drug kingpin who ran his empire like a Wall Street firm became iconic. But what shocked viewers even more was discovering, after the show aired, that Stringer Bell wasn't from Baltimore at all. He was from London. Elba had hidden his accent so well, many assumed he was American. That was his secret weapon. He could disappear into roles, become anyone, carry any story. Still, Hollywood hesitated. He was impressive, but could he be the guy? For years, Idris lived in a strange limbo. Critics adored him. Directors wanted him. But executives didn't know what to do with him. He was too versatile, too serious for comedy, too cool for character roles, too intense for background noise. They couldn't categorize him, and that scared them. But instead of waiting for permission, Idris kept pushing. He took roles that stretched his range, gritty dramas, action films, romantic leads, Shakespeare on stage. And slowly, he carved a lane that didn't exist before, a lane where black, British, working-class men weren't just side characters. They were the stars. His turn as DCI John Luther cemented that status. With Luther, Elba crafted a character that was tortured but heroic, brilliant but damaged, a modern-day Sherlock Holmes wrapped in raw emotion. It wasn't just the writing. It was Idris himself. His intensity, his vulnerability, his presence. Suddenly, fans weren't just watching. They were obsessed. And Hollywood took notice. He landed roles in the Thor franchise, Pacific Rim, Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, Beasts of No Nation, and dozens more. He proved he could do prestige and popcorn, indie and blockbuster, drama and comedy, and do all of it with swagger. But Idris Elba is more than just an actor. He's a producer, a musician, a DJ, a director. He doesn't wait for opportunities, he creates them. He launched his own production company to tell stories Hollywood overlooks. He returned to music and released records. He spun at Coachella. He made fashion statements at the Met Gala, launched his own clothing line, and still found time to campaign for social justice and mental health awareness. He's a renaissance man in an industry that once tried to box him into a stereotype. Even now, after decades of breaking ground, Idris still has to fight against the labels. He was famously passed over to play James Bond, despite being the people's top choice, because insiders whispered that he was too street for the role. But Elba didn't flinch. He shrugged, kept moving, and said what we were all thinking. He didn't need Bond. Bond needed him. Because at this point, Idris Elba is the standard, the leading man, the blueprint. Today, he's not just celebrated, he's respected. He's not just watched, he's followed. He became the face of cool, the voice of power, the symbol of perseverance. And he did it all by ignoring what they said he couldn't be. They told him he'd never be the leading man. But Idris Elba didn't just prove them wrong, he made them eat their words.